Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Thursday night. It's time for Revolutionary Change. I'm Jen Perlman.
I'm Peter Hager. Am I on the right side?
Well, I don't know why it matters to you. Does it matter to you? Do you like? That's so okay. He likes to be on that side. So, welcome. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of
How
stuff.
many
First,
problems
can I
do you
say
have?
one thing? Well, no, I want to say something before I forget. So, everybody who's been watching our clips and watching and sitting through the ads and letting us know what the ads are that are coming up, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate it. I appreciate that you're letting them play, but I'm also appreciating knowing what the ads are. So thank you guys very much. And I appreciate all the comments. We get a lot of comments.
Yeah, and I also do want to say that I have been noticing what you guys have been saying in the chat, that Israel has been heavily running ads on our channel. Pro-Israel ads have been running on our channel.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't think our channel was having some type of an impact. It's that simple. And speaking of impact,
exactly. I was going to say we need to prepare. We need to prepare ourselves for a Big Brother situation. And is that where you were going to go?
well, I was going to say that it was only a couple of hours ago that we had passed 65,000 subscribers, and now it looks like we're going to pass 66,000 while we're live. So it's look, like I said, it's very gratifying. It's a complete shift from what, and again, it wasn't like, we were stuck in the rut for, the first 6 months to a year that we were doing a show and thinking, oh, what are we going to do? How are we ever going to grow? And then the next thing you know, we were stuck in the rut for a good 4 years. It's not like, we knew, like I said, today would be a prime example because of the new viral clip that we've had. We've had 3 or 4 of them in the past week. And this is a reflection of what I had mentioned for those of you who've been following us for the duration, or at least close to it, the duration of when we got started. And what you noticed is that we went through a period of about 2 years where we grew 1,500 subscribers. We're doing 1,500 subscribers in a day, which is just, again,
I feel like we should stop talking about it like we're going to jinx it. But we
it's
do
not a
need
question
to
of jinxing it. No, it's not a question of jinxing it. It's actually very healthy that we do talk about it, recognizing that this could all be an anomaly. It could all go away at any moment. So you have to live in the moment and enjoy it while you can.
But we also need to prepare for the worst. And in that, everybody, if you are not over on Rumble, we are now over on Rumble. That, from my understanding, is a non-censored platform. So we're just trying to have space over there as well, just in case. And the other thing is you can always be a Patreon. I mean, it's just, I'm just saying we have to prepare that at any point in time, this platform gets taken over by another group of Zios and they just shut it all down. And that's what I'm right.
Yeah, YouTube is going to be the last one to fall, but that's not to say that it won't happen.
Exactly.
We haven't dug too much into it, and obviously there will be more reason to talk about it. But I would imagine, Jen, that if you're going to pull your Houdini as you're planning to pull, if you tried that on TikTok, I have a feeling it probably will get flagged and it probably get us in trouble.
Well, and as somebody, again, I've never been on TikTok. I don't have it, so I don't even really, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not on there. But for anybody who's on that and it's really just social, get off of that shit. I mean, it's one thing when people's livelihoods depend on stuff, and I do give more grace on that. But it's like, if you're there just for fun, seriously, get the fuck off of there. So is that where do you want to start? Do you have something else you want to say, like well, our numbers related?
Well, right now we're not even 10 minutes in. We're at 180 live stream viewers already. Again, like I said, these things they happen. Connor, thank you.
Is my conversion working? Like, I feel like I'm attracting more of the Irish, and it pleases me to no end.
With a name like Connor, you can only imagine.
I don't know, it just pleases me. It's like, I feel like I went over there. I spent about, a couple of weeks over there. I spread my vibe or whatever. And now I just feel like, I'm attracting the Irish.
Good job, Matt Stu. That's a good one. That's good.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
We probably should start there.
Okay.
obviously you guys have been paying close attention to what is going on with this flotilla situation, which I have been saying for the past few weeks was going to get really bad when things really got to a
Wait,
head.
you want to start with flotilla?
What did you think I was starting with?
I thought we were going to do slow burn and do that first.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
I mean,
Listen, how many live viewers do you want to see you do this?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You think I should wait?
We're just getting started.
All right. Well, you want to just pull it out when you think it's a good time. We can do that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Sorry. Continue. We're going to talk flotilla.
So for those of you who have been watching, and I'm sure a lot of you have, the Freedom Flotillas are getting picked off left and right. And it shouldn't surprise anybody that this situation is getting more and more dire by the minute. And I don't believe I even have a video clip to pull. So now I even question whether I should start there.
Well, there've been so many. I feel like for anybody following people on the flotilla, like, so I'm following, I don't even know, like maybe a dozen different people on different boats in the flotilla. So I've been seeing all the updates that have come through up until them being intercepted last night. Last I was watching today, Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman was interviewing a journalist who is on a boat that has left more recently out of Italy that is joining that. So I'm getting a feeling like there's still some boats that are in there that are moving. I've seen now 2 different ones that have still not been intercepted. But that's the most recent information that I have, unless somebody else has new. So I'm not sure what video we want to show of them being intercepted. I feel like we've seen that before. We know how the IOF commandos just come on a boat in violation of international law, mind you. It's completely illegal. These people were in international waters and they were just abducted and kidnapped by Israel. That's what just happened. 400, somewhere between 400 and 500 people from 43 different countries. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, you really have to ask yourself: are they going to allow a single boat to get there, and what type of help are they receiving that we're not fully aware of at this point?
Well, I don't know, but I know that the flotilla and the people that coordinate that, the people that are in Athens that are part of the coordination team, or the people that have been kidnapped, they're not threatened. They're not scared. They're going to keep doing this over and over and over again. And the thing is, it is sort of like whack-a-mole to some extent, but think about it this way. Every ounce of resources, the size of Israel is pretty small. Their military is flailing. They're seeing more casualties than they've probably seen since like 71 or, somewhere in the 70s. Like, seriously, we're not hearing that because we're not allowed to hear that, but that's what's happening. So all of these are now taking up resources. Every single one of these interceptions has taken away resources from an already completely stretched and, I think defeated military. And they are on too many fronts. They're using up not only that, but the amount of weapons and ammo and the stuff that we provide. And there's a finite amount. And the more resources that are wasted by them, that's part of it. So no, the flotillas are not going to stop. It's not going to stop.
No, when somebody says that, well, if you're going to come with 40, why don't you come with 200 next time? And then eventually they are going to break through.
That's the thing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a difference. Colin, please queue up what I sent you.
But from one at a time to somewhere between 40 and 50 is pretty big step. So who's to say? And since the interception, there have been a whole bunch of boats taking off from Turkey, I believe Italy, that are in solidarity. Now, how far they go, I don't know. But there are still a few boats that are technically part of the flotilla that have not been intercepted.
Yeah, but I am not convinced that any of them are going to make it to the beachhead at this point. They have basically assembled their entire naval operation to just intercept all of these boats.
Okay, so what does that mean? That's what they're spending their time doing. Good.
Yeah.
Good. that gives places like Yemen an opportunity. It gives, when they're distracted, they're not doing whatever they're doing. Let them burn their resources and go through deployments and soldiers and all. Let them do that.
You
Good.
got something from Iran here.
Like me, a Persian.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Founding of civilization, right? This was
yes, and also I've known Persian Jews, and they're some of the most fastidious people I've ever met in my like immaculate people I've ever met.
Speaking of a country that actually gets their shit together, this is France. This is Paris. A little bit earlier today.
How many cities? I think like a whole bunch of cities had major action.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. I believe there were like almost a dozen cities that I saw on a screen where they put it up like, Brady Bunch squares where you saw the different cities at once. And it was a lot. Mostly in Europe. There were, I want to say there were a couple in some other miscellaneous places. I'm not going to say like Indonesia or Malaysia or something, but like, a lot of people since last night have been out in the streets over the kidnapping, illegal. Like this is not a military action. It's a kidnapping.
Of course. That's not a surprise.
No, it's not a surprise, but we need to be very clear in the language that we use.
Yes. And if there was one person who could comment on this better than anybody, it is not just our friend, but somebody who I personally consider to be the best left activist in the United States, Medea Benjamin.
Are so worried about the people on the flotilla, including our dear friends Adnan and Tor, and all the other ones who are so courageous. And it just is blowing the mind of people all over the world that Israel has this impunity to board boats and kidnap people for the crime of taking things like baby food to feed the starving children of Gaza.
Well, not exactly. They are saying that they're all Hamas, by the way. That is their excuse. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. The only thing is, the only people who believe that now and care are them, or Zios. No one gives a shit about Hamas anymore. People are over it. The world is over it. Netanyahu just spoke to a completely like almost empty room. The only people that were in the room were like his people at the UN. The world is done. So their messaging about Hamas is not mattering anymore.
No. And this, again, should come as no surprise to anybody. I'm just surprised that it hasn't gotten more hostile, although I can't say that it won't. If any of the flotillas are able to make it to the beachhead, that will be the defining moment, because then you'll see just how far they're willing to go, regardless of who's on those ships.
So far. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You want to play it?
Go ahead.
No, play it. It's okay.
It shows the whole world just how evil the Israeli regime is. And I want to give a shout out to the people in Italy who are all over the streets, the dock workers who are saying they're going to shut down the ports, other European countries. And we have to do that here in the United States as well.
You're asking for quite a bit if you think that this country is going to do anything of the sort.
No, not at this level. We don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have the collectiveness that those other countries have. And we've talked about that before. A lot of times we are very individualistic. We are every man for himself. These are countries where for the most part, people agree that everyone's entitled to health care. Like for the most part, like that's just like, so, even they're conservative people in these places. So I'm just saying, like, we're so far off from the collective nature of so many of these countries. And that is what I think really keeps us from getting to this point.
I definitely agree.
Because we are the #1 supporters of this evil regime. So let's get out there and demand the protection of the flotilla and demand that humanitarian aid be flooding into Gaza and demand an end to the genocide.
I can't like to me the fact that she maintains her cool and is so pleasant despite like what she deals with every day is amazing. It's amazing.
Well, considering her age and the fact that she was a Vietnam War protester, it should come as no surprise to anybody.
Right. When people crap on her, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. She's been fighting the fight since Vietnam.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that she actually puts her money where her mouth is. You know, there's a lot of people that have very big opinions about a lot of important topics, but Medea's put her body.
She puts her body on the line. I've seen her get carried out sideways, like as part of a Broadway performance looking thing by like 4 men carrying her out of her room. I mean, she's fierce.
She is fierce.
I know. I love her.
And I feel that this is actually a very proper transition into what we consider, especially in politics, Medea Benjamin, to be the best of us in so many ways.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you agree with her politics, anyone who follows Medea Benjamin knows that she's the genuine article. She does what she says she's going to do, and she's doing it for righteous causes on the behest of humanity, which is a very rare sight to see in politics. On the other hand, we are faced with a situation right now. I don't know how long this shutdown is going to last, but I can assure you, each and every one of you that is watching, each and every one of you that is going to be watching, the posturing over this particular shutdown is over a for-profit health system. Do you know that we pay for Israel to have a single-payer health system? Did you know that? They have everything. 9 million people, not because God gave them that right, but because our money.
Our resources and money, right?
Resources and money. I'm going to be talking about Tucker Carlson on Saturday about this.
Okay, wait, but before we move on to this, I just want to say one more thing. At last update about the flotilla that I did see is that all of the people that have been taken into custody are in good condition, and nobody has
for now.
Correct, and they're being treated okay as of now. That was my final thing my update on the flotilla.
Well, remember, Jen, they are the most moral army in the world.
Yeah. No, but I think that they recognize the microscope that is on this.
They don't really have much of a choice at this point. The walls are closing in from all directions. I am very concerned about where this is going to go. And that's why I, like you, probably are on the same page in that the reason why Israel has gotten away with this for as long as they have is because of the threat from Netanyahu of the Samson option and whether or not he will employ it. I am convinced that he probably would.
I think he would. But I also want to say before we go into the shutdown thing, make no mistake that the shutdown is a distraction. The shutdown is a distraction. It's sort of like another false flag. It's what else can we throw out there to keep people distracted and not focusing on any one thing. It's a distraction. And they don't care about the collateral damage of said distraction. But it's a distraction. It's a distraction from Gaza. It's a distraction from what's going on in the West Bank. It's a distraction from the Epstein files. It's a distraction.
Just remember, that's not a knife. That's a knife. I would probably pick that accent up pretty easily if I was living there.
I don't know.
Just have to be amongst the culture. That's kind of how it works.
I have a cousin who lives in McKay. Her name is Jessica. I've only met her once, but she's my first cousin.
Well, I'm sure Duke's met her.
No.
That's a joke. But you never know. It's a small world. He could be from there. So I'm just putting that out there. Wow. So with that said, for anyone who has been paying attention to this shutdown and what they are claiming it is about, they're claiming it's about healthcare. What no one will tell you is that the healthcare that they think they're protecting is the for-profit. How should I say this? Pandemic-induced system. Just remember, for anybody who's here who thinks that Jen and I are like woke lefties, let me assure you, we were dead set against the lockdowns. We were dead set against anybody having to take the thing.
We don't do bans and mandates here. No. I don't do that. That's like a violation of civil liberties. I'm not with that. No, I'm not. But there are so many angles as to why this is so fucked up that's the card the Democrats are actually playing. Like, I don't know how any of them could say that with a straight face. Okay, now you're concerned about healthcare. Now you're concerned about it.
And
Like,
then,
really?
and what's even more ridiculous, and before we get to the clip that I think is just going to make everybody lose their dinner, so I don't want to jump into that just yet. I want to show you, even if it is wrong, even if it goes against people's morality and how they feel about immigration. Jen and I do not see eye to eye on this issue, and that's okay. However, if you are going to be the supposed leader of the Democratic Party and you're going to go on with Jake Tapeworm of all people, you have no way, shape, or form of presenting an argument that he can crush you on. That's not a good look, buddy. But here's what happened.
Trump blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is, you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie, but what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand.
Exactly. Why indeed? Why indeed, Hakeem?
You know, people think that, I'm seeing in the chat, is this a libertarian podcast? No, this is a rational thinking podcast. And that, of course, leads to what is it that we support? I support a single-payer healthcare system. And if we had a single-payer healthcare system, we wouldn't have to have any of these nuances about what you can and can't cover within healthcare. Either you get basic care covered or you do not. And in the case of the system that we live in today, we live in a broken system. Well, even you would say it's not actually broken. It's working.
No, it's fixed.
It's fixed, working as it's intended to.
Absolutely.
And so
it's working for shareholders.
Yeah. So you bring on this guy who's going to sell empire and try to convince people that the reason that the government is shut down, and now that Trump has told everybody, I'm going to fire thousands of federal employees, this is why you shut down the government. This is why we said years ago that you should have forced the vote on Medicare for all. You should have made people have to say where they stand on the issue of whether or not healthcare is a right, or if it is a corporate financed privilege. So which way do you want it? I don't think it's too much to ask for.
Well, I guess I'm the lefty here. So for me, it's a given. I actually think denying people healthcare that's available is violent.
It is violent.
I think denying that is violent. And so the people that are part of the system that are perpetrating that, those people are committing violence. Right. So, when you have the Democrats now somehow standing on what pedestal do they think that they're on? Like, where do they get off? Like, now this is what they're concerned about. And fuck Jake Tapper. Could he have said the word illegals anymore? Do you think he could have been any more of a fucking bigot in that little clip? Just how many times did he have to say the word illegal? Illegal. Human beings are not illegal. Infuriating.
Well, as I have been pointing out to you, I do think that there is a person who, for whatever reason, we both agree that the Democratic Party is just a party that is basically dead man walking at this point. I don't think there's any, it is do not resuscitate, so to speak. But if there is one person who can assure that the Democratic Party will never survive, or if you want to ensure that they get blamed for this, well,
so we're getting another perspective on the cause of the shutdown, right? Now they're going to start blaming the other parties, right? This is a partisan problem.
Yeah, it's a party problem.
This is just a party problem. Yeah.
according to this nincompoop anyway.
One, Debbie Wasserman Schultz here, just came off the House floor where Democrats in the House tried to get Republicans to hear our legislation that would keep the government open, lower healthcare costs, end the cuts, and save Americans' healthcare.
You know, you've been in Congress for over 2 decades, and you have voted against healthcare every single session, every one of them.
Yes, and she's so big on her status as a cancer survivor. You know, she's so big and Race for the Cure and all that shit. But yet she doesn't believe that other women are entitled to the same level of care that she gets. See, she doesn't believe that. So it's just interesting that now she's talking about healthcare. We have to make this go fast because seriously, she looks so grotesque to me.
Yeah, she's got like she's got a droopy eye problem.
I'm not even going to go. She just looks really grotesque to me, and just let this finish.
Yeah.
And Republicans ignored us and would not let us even take a step forward. They gavelled in, they gavelled out. Democrats are here ready to work. Republicans are on vacation, and they will own the shutdown and the increased healthcare costs. We're not going to stand for it.
You're not.
You're such a fighter for the people, aren't you? Such a fighter for the people.
I want to remind everybody.
Make it go away, please.
I want to remind everybody that if you are looking for who is the most prolific insider trader within the Democratic Party, you just saw her. Now, of course, Pelosi gets all the kudos because her net worth is substantially higher than Wasserman Schultz's. But if you want to see the person who unequivocally does the type of business that should land you in a jail, in a prison cell for many years, that is her business. And the fact of the matter is, she put that up on her social media, probably thinking that only her people would see it. Instead, it ended up becoming a viral clip, everybody sharing it and saying, how is this person still in power? How does this person think it was a good idea to get her face that close to a camera? And how is this person who trades on so much inside information that now you've got real, like, hawks that do this for a living, that follow all of these insider trading by all of these congressional members, is asking themselves, how is this person getting away with this? And when somebody like her decides to stick her nose out into the public sphere and make a statement about any type of morality when it comes to our political discourse in this country, the only thing that does is set you back 10 steps. That's what it does. So if you were hoping to get the Democrats to be blamed for what's going on right now, Wasserman Schultz did you all a huge favor. That's how I see it.
I still can't get, I'm going to have nightmares about that now. Like, really, I never needed to see her that close up. Not really now. You know what I mean?
By the time it is all said and done, she will have officially melted off all of her skin and the lizard will have appeared. That's
her and Peter Thiel.
Yeah, well, her and Peter Thiel are probably from the same species of amphibian, as far as I can tell. So, but she looks bad.
But the point is that this shutdown is a distraction that they're using to play political theater and keep our eyes off of the things that we're wanting to talk about and that are really mattering, because they don't give a crap about healthcare. Debbie Wasserman Schultz could not give a crap about people having healthcare, not even a little bit. No. So yeah, it's just all theater and it is a distraction. And the fact that they're blaming each other, and yes, Hakeem Jeffries, he's really he's a man of the people.
Well, as I said, I also think that there is something to be said for the fact that when she appears and she reminds people of the absolute devastating, inhumane, incapable of governance, wholly corrupted, and without redeemable qualities that the Democratic Party is, she's the embodiment of it all, because she's still there. And the worst part about it is that unlike Pelosi and Schumer, she's not that old. She's still in her 50s. She looks like she's 20 years older.
Well,
but
for people who, she's 5 years older than me. Debbie is 5 years older than me.
You could have had her as your congressional representative.
But that's
the problem with Zionists.
Yeah.
You see, for them, it's not about what's good for the people. It's about what's good for empire, what's good for their supremacist cause. And that is what she represents. That's with, and again, I'm addressing Wasserman Schultz in the context of the government shutdown and the crimes against our country that she commits. I'm not even addressing the fact that she's one of, without question, without fail, one of the most hardened, psychopathic Zionists that we have in politics. Like, this person gleefully stands alongside Mr. Milikowski. And I always like to play this clip because I like to remind people of just how bad she really is. Shortly after October 7th, which we are coming up on the 2-year anniversary, she is the person who was the one running around Congress pushing for the extensions on the BDS legislation. So this is what she had to say at the time.
There's this vote that's going to happen on the Israel-Hamas resolution on the floor. Are you concerned that some Democrats may not support this?
I would hope that all members would support a resolution that condemns terrorism, the brutal attacks that were perpetrated against the Israeli people that were killed. We have 218 hostages. They took 222. Someone who votes against this, I would think, doesn't have a soul.
And again, she's an expert on the soul list. That's what I say.
Yeah, she knows a thing or two about not having one. Or does she know a thing or two about capturing them?
She's just gross. She's just so gross.
So well, with that said, the shutdown is a joke. And for anyone who is suffering as a result, let me assure you, ladies and gentlemen, they all suck. They're all bought. Trump doesn't give a fuck about you. The Democrats sure as hell don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
The GOP doesn't give a fuck about you. And the corporate donors that control all of this bullshit, they do not give a fuck about you.
No.
So our good friend Victoria, who's been following us for a while and is a great supporter of our channel, and she said it at the top of the stream, why can't we be more like France and get in the streets and do the things that are necessary to make these guys shit their britches anytime they see us? Well, for one, we don't have health care. We don't have any type of a safety net, in lieu of the fact that we are in a recession right now, even though it's not being called that. Should be, but it isn't. But it is a recession, no doubt. And then you have the people that just are just either afraid or they have succumbed to the realities of this broken system. But at some point, you have to be willing to die on your feet, or you're going to live on your knees. I'm not going to live on my knees. And I hope no one else here feels that way. That's why we're so enamored with somebody like Anthony Aguilar and Josephine Guilbeault, because what they're doing, being that they already serve this country in combat, no less, they still feel the need to serve this country in a very dynamic way. And Anthony's been saying, get your asses up to DC. It's the people.
And wait, most importantly, though, Anthony is one of our new patrons, which is very exciting.
That's right.
So I know, and I saw him in the chat. He's, it's we're like the Mutual Admiration Society.
Okay, well, since you brought that up, that we might as well, if you are so inclined, we have over 400 people watching already in the live stream, which is great. Please go to patreon.com/revolutionary change for as little as $5 a month. You could become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel. And I can tell you all right now, as of this moment, we are honing in. We just passed 66,000 subscribers.
Crazy. Wow.
Crazy.
All right. Well, I want to get up to a lot of viewers for my slow burn. Like that, I want to.
Well, I think we should save the slow burn for our esteemed guests, because we definitely want to get maximum exposure for this. It's a big one. So I don't want to.
I hear you. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
So it's going to be a surprise to me as well. Jen, we are 34,000 subscribers away from 100,000.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great. It's definitely, like I said, it's a very gratifying situation.
Yeah.
I think we should probably save the Trump speech for Zach.
Because he does a pretty good impression. We're going to need to have,
That's really great. We're
I
gonna do
think,
it.
and that was something I'm going to do. We're going to need to have a little bit of a contest.
Okay.
All right. Like where I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to think about who I think sounds better. We're going to have a contest because he does it pretty well too. I'm
Hey,
just saying.
not too many people do. I mean, I am very appreciative that those who think I do it well. I don't think I've heard his particular impression.
He only said it. I heard it in one of the videos. He did it in passing, right? Like he didn't necessarily, but it was really good. I'm just saying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And guys, I do want to also give one quick shout out as we are running the patrons right now, and we're going to get to the super chats in a second. I also want to make sure for those of you who are here, again, we have over 420, Jen, your favorite number, that are in the chat right now. Guys, if you are not,
I don't mind if I do.
Yes. If you are not currently subscribed on Rumble, it is Revolutionary Change on Rumble, as well as Spotify. And so if you are so inclined, please make sure that you subscribe there, because as our channel grows and we become more and more noticed, as is the case, as many of you have mentioned, that when you watch the live stream, and because we are a monetized channel, you're seeing a lot of ads from Israel, which clearly means that we're having some type of an impact. But you never know if they will ever choose to, yank the rug out from under us, which is certainly possible. So if you don't want to see that happen, please make sure that you subscribe to the other channels as well, because we clearly want to make sure that if they do, we are not going to be at a total loss. We know right now that that is certainly possible. And we certainly hope that if it does happen, that each and every one of our YouTube members will go over to Patreon and become a member over there. But as of now, we do have a slew of new members to shout out. Barbara Freeman, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Really appreciate you being here. Just Me has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much. Appreciate you having your support. And Charlie Wilkin, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. We're happy to have you here, my friend. Thank you very, very much. Now, of course, we'd be amiss without giving a shout out to one of our OGs, Tony D, 21 months as a YouTube member. My heart is with Greta. She must be protected.
I think she will be. I think she will be. I think she will be. And she is a real revolutionary. I've said it before. She's amazing. She is willing to put her life on the line. That's a revolutionary. I mean, she's the real deal.
Agreed. Phoenix 6 with the 199. Love from New York.
Love to New York.
Or love, no, from.
I'm saying love. Yes. I say love to New York.
Well, I was born in New York, so I wasn't raised there, but I was born.
I'm loving whoever this is in New York, not you.
Oh, excuse me. And our good friend from Ireland, Connor Mahoney, with the 10
Irishman.
You see from Gaza, Water for Gaza. An amazing charity delivering water to Gaza is run by a friend of mine, Tag Hickey, Irish comedian.
Tig
Hickey, Irish comedian who was on the flotilla, would be well worth interviewing.
We know, and here's the thing, Connor. Although I guess, given that you all seem to like to be up through the middle of the night over there, we are generally, because we're live, we don't normally get to interview people that are that far ahead time zone. We're, Eastern Standard Time. But apparently you Irish don't sleep over there. So maybe it wouldn't be that hard to get him to come on our regular time. But being that he is now in detention, being held as a hostage by Israel, and we're, I'm hopeful that the people will be returned home and unharmed. I'm hopeful.
Mark J with the $2. Thank you, Jen and Peter. Thank you, Mark, for always being a supporter. It really means a lot. So again, if you are so inclined, any and all support. Jen. Yeah, Jen always likes to be, Jen needs confirmation bias. I don't need any. You can all tell me to go fuck myself and I would still do this.
I don't need it, but it's definitely nice to be appreciated.
I sometimes appreciate you.
Yeah, I could count that on a hand.
Shut up. Jen is great. Otherwise, why the hell would we be here, right? You don't think we would just do it for our health? Although we have to be able to vent to somebody about all this horrific. these horrific stories that we're seeing on a regular basis, and knowing that we are having an impact, I think, is something that is probably the most important part of all, because we spent so much time trying to figure out why these stories mattered, and why is it that certain people were getting pushed. And it is obvious that the level of desperation that is happening right now, I know you didn't want to dive too much into this, Jen, because again, we don't like to talk about other content creators, but I did find this very, very good clip from Middle East Eye. For those of you that follow Middle East Eye, you know that they do amazing work. The level of desperation that the state of Israel is heading towards at this point when it comes to controlling the narrative knows no bounds. I am going to do a deeper dive on Saturday regarding Emily Austin, somebody that I know personally. We'll discuss that on Saturday. But I want you all to understand the lengths that these people are going to now to control the narrative. And I do think that it goes without saying, it isn't a question of if, it's a question of when it's going to end. That's what's going to happen. You will not maintain this Israel has the right to defend itself storyline.
No.
Now it's just a storyline, let's be fair. It's not going to last. And now that it went from paying somebody $8,000 a month, now it's $7,000 a post. That's a level of, I mean, listen, that's a lot of fucking money to throw. Oh.
Well, look at all the ads that are popping up during our live stream. All they have is Hasbara. That's all they have. Yeah. And so, yeah, they're like in the death throes, and they're going to throw everything that they have at this. But yeah, it reeks of desperation. They reek of desperation, don't they? Those Zios.
If you think it's bad, wait till you hear this.
Some of the US influencers Netanyahu chose to meet with at Israel's Consulate General in New York, tasked with taking over TikTok and X in an attempt to shore up international support for Israel during the genocide in Gaza. First up, we have his own son, Netanyahu. His Instagram bio reads, "From the river to the sea, this flag, the Israeli flag, is all you'll see."
Mm.
Now, keep in mind, this jackoff lives in Miami Beach.
I have to get out of here. I have got to get out of South Florida. We're being infested.
Mm. And you would think if you loved Israel as much as you claim that you do, you would not have a problem living there. Apparently, he's running for cover. I don't understand. I mean, you would have to imagine that he has to walk around with like some type of Secret Service detail at all times.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, he walks around with complete security. I mean, Miami is a place where, yeah, like that's where the Zios are going. They're going to escape to two places. They're going to come here and they're going to go to Argentina. That's their escape route. All right. And I need to bail out of this. Oh, where? Yeah. Cyprus, but.
So that's 3.
But okay, Cyprus, but it's so small. But yeah, I understand. But I don't think that in the past we've always thought of Cyprus as like Petter Haven, where we're now going to be, because where else are they all going to go? And if they're going to come somewhere here, it's going to be to Miami. Of course, it's going to be to Miami, because it's always Florida.
Just can't get away from it.
On social media, he has denied the genocide in Gaza and blamed images showing malnutrition on genetic issues, attributing them to Palestinian incest.
I just want to remind that 45% of the marriages in Gaza are between first cousins, so there is some genetic problems there. And they presented it like he's suffering from starvation.
Next is Lizzie Savetsky, a pro-Israel influencer. At the roundtable with Netanyahu, she said,
"I stick my neck out there and say the harsh truth that people don't often want to hear."
Back in February, she shared a video of Rabbi Meir Kahane, a figure who was even deemed extremist by Israel itself, once again calling it the truth and saying that the only language Arabs understand is force and fear. And then there's Emily Austin, another Zionist influencer.
So I will talk about this more on Saturday, but I figured out something about Emily Austin that it actually just dawned on me earlier today. You know what that is?
She's Zio Barbie.
That is RFK's AIPAC handler. And I'll explain that on Saturday.
Okay, well, that makes
He
sense then,
publicly
doesn't it?
denied cases of Palestinian suffering, accused Palestinian journalists of being terrorists, and yet was still allowed to report at the FIFA Club World Cup. In one video, she said this about being pro-Palestine.
Imagine supporting people who start wars just to lose the wars so they can cry about it and then try it all again.
She was also...
Yeah, you dumb bitch. That would be Israel.
I also want to point out, for those who may not know, but this guy, I don't even remember his name, and frankly, I don't give a shit. What
The
I
white
do,
hair?
yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Skilo, or isn't that what? Or yeah, I think that's what he used to.
And it reminds me of like the, I don't know, from the remember the Delight video, "Groove is in the heart." He's wearing like some sort of cool
Groove
suit.
is in the heart.
Right, he looks like he's one of those like groovy dancers.
Yeah, but I think what's more important here is that for those who don't know, that content creator is the guy who was standing in front of those truckloads worth of aid that was supposed to get into Gaza and basically making fun of the fact that they can't get their hands on it. That's him.
Oh, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? I love that we're learning who all these people are, because, well, I mean, they'll have to be part of the escape route too. Who knows where they'll end up? But these people are going to be like pariahs in the world, just like Israelis are now.
Indeed.
Cry about it and then try it all again.
She was also invited by Trump to view the so-called Epstein files, which of course contained only flight logs and contact lists.
So I just need to point this out. Who in the fuck is this kid? Because she's basically a kid. She's only like 23 years old. Why would somebody like her get her hands on information like that? Unless she's inside.
Or she's just involved in the Epstein ring. I mean, she's, part of it. Who the hell knows?
Yep.
Already public for years. Another influencer, that opinionated girl, formerly that Zionist girl, following her meeting with Netanyahu.
AIPAC is not an Israeli organization. It has no ties whatsoever to the government of Israel.
So this is the same AIPAC that coordinates directly with Israeli officials, lobbies for pro-Israel policy, and was set up after its predecessor was legally required to register as a foreign agent. The group has also funded hundreds of congressional trips to Israel over the last decade. Then there's Deborah Leah Schwartzman, a Trump supporter and pro-Israel influencer. She called Netanyahu a personal hero and one of the greatest politicians of all time, describing meeting him as the honor of her life. Previously, she posted that people supporting Palestine should rot in hell.
The people that are sympathizing with Palestine right now literally rot in hell.
Yeah. Well, for those of us who don't believe in hell, that's just kind of funny, but whatever.
There's a person who's never been told no their entire life.
And ironically, what's really funny is Jews don't believe in heaven and hell. So I don't know what she's talking. So she clearly, I don't know who she's talking about.
And then there's Shea Sabo, the proudest Israeli American you'll ever meet. She says her compassion for Palestinians is why she does not support recognizing a Palestinian state while continuing to promote pro-Israel content.
Now, if you don't remember this lady, and I'm going to remind you all of who she is, I'm pretty sure about this. I could be wrong, but I am very sure that this is the same person that claimed that she got attacked on Columbia University's campus during the March protest. You hit me in the eye! You hit me in the eye!
Oh, okay. Okay.
So now it all starts to make sense, doesn't it?
Well, they have a certain amount of paid operatives, and that's what they've always had to do. They've been having to pay people to have protests and marches. They've had to pay people to have any amount of numbers whatsoever.
Yes, Manwith got it. Eyeball girl. Yes, I am very, very sure that this is Eyeball girl. She looks just like her.
Okay. Well, they only have so many people to use.
That's true. That's a good point.
While continuing to promote pro-Israel content online.
I care about their future so much that I refuse to endorse a plan that traps them under corrupt and extremist ideology and leadership.
It's certainly not the first time Israel has enlisted US influencers to try and counter the facts. In August, Israel allowed a select number of American and Israeli influencers access to Gaza in an attempt to counter major news organizations around the world and what they'd been reporting about the deadly nature of aid distribution in Gaza. And one such influencer was self-proclaimed Zionist Xavier DeRusso, who proudly said,
"If I were Israel, I wouldn't even provide matching socks to Gaza."
And of course, these individuals were the exception to Israel's total ban on international journalists from entering and reporting in Gaza. Netanyahu's interest in TikTok also appears to come at the same time as reports that the Trump administration is finalizing a deal with Beijing to move the app's US operations from Chinese to American control.
One little thing that I also want to point out here that maybe you guys are not, very few I think are probably even aware of this. So the acquisition by Larry Ellison, Jen, to acquire TikTok, $14 billion is what he spent. The actual value of TikTok, $40 billion.
Not if everyone would get the hell off of it and leave him holding nothing. You know, that's the whole point. You know, it's like, why do people need that?
Because unfortunately, life is not very fun right now, and distractions like that make people
but it feeds itself. It's just not.
We'll finish that.
To American control. And so, from Yair Netanyahu to Lizzie Sabetsky, Emily Austin to Deborah Lear, these influencers are no longer just spreading Zionist ideology. They are part of a coordinated effort to try and normalize and obscure the ongoing genocide in Gaza.
Yep. I mean, that's what they have to do. I mean, they have to pay propaganda, because when you don't have facts on your side, what are you going to do? They have to pay for it.
I think it is imperative that as we're about to bring Zach in, I think that what people need to understand is that content creation, it's not easy to do. And it's also not easy to maneuver through the ups and downs of the algorithm, which is very tough. The reason that I initially Zach caught my eye is because he and I both are in the real estate world, and seeing everything that's going on right now, it's kind of impossible to ignore, and you're seeing it on a daily basis. However, if you can use your content to actually show people why they can't afford to live, why they can't afford a home, why they have no health care. Well, look, this is exactly why we say that if we do not deal with the unholy alliance that is the Zionist state, they will drag us to hell with them, even if they don't believe in it. But you could have hell on earth, and we don't want that. So with that said, he is not only a real estate influencer, he is also an exceptional content creator who has built quite a platform with great facts and great humor. So let's have a conversation, shall we, Jen?
Okay, wait, are you going to play a clip first? Or do you want to bring him on first?
Let's bring him on. Bring him on. Zach Foust, welcome to Revolutionary Change.
Thank you guys for having me. This is the setup. This is awesome.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. I was looking at some of your stuff today, and I'm very impressed. I think that you're very funny. You're really funny.
Funny how?
My wife would disagree, but thank you so much.
Oh, well, that's because she has to. Yeah, it's probably not funny to her anymore.
We'll see. Yeah, we have a daughter now, so the dad jokes are leveling up every day. They're just getting saucier.
Okay, so that's kind of punny, right? Like it's kind of yeah. I hear you.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. I highly appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. And do you want me to start with him with the Trump thing? Because Zach, I heard you do a little bit of a Trump impression. And I actually thought it sounded pretty good. And Peter does a really good Trump impression.
Ooh.
So, right. So I'm just curious, like, is that something that you do regularly, or did I just happen to hear it in passing?
It's become more of a tick than anything. It's
same thing.
Yeah, just sometimes you're talking, the hands start moving, and then you say the word beautiful, and you're like, wow, how beautiful. And you just got to keep, it's like a stim. You just got to keep it going. If I don't finish it, I'll be angry.
Well, I've seen your work. You do good work.
Much better.
I appreciate it. You're doing a really great job. But have you seen the speech that I gave to my wonderful generals? You know, I know more than they do. So I had to explain to them what's going on.
See, mine's more comical. His is more realistic. I like
okay.
Yeah, mine's more over the top for within the scope of my talent, I guess.
Look at you, got two different camera angles going. This is some fancy shit.
Yeah, my Dunder Mifflin second cam going on. Yes, ma'am.
Well, before we jump into Trump, what was sort of your odyssey? How did you get to where you got? Obviously, you have a heck of a following on Instagram. Real estate obviously has become a central focus for many of us. There is no question that I think private equity has played a substantial role in why, particularly for Gen Z and the millennial generation, we are in a lot of trouble as far as being able to build wealth. That's just one layer to it. But what was your story? How did you ultimately get to where you got talking about this particular topic?
Well, a couple things. One, everything got extremely unaffordable after 2022. Between rates and prices, I was starting to see the general person in my area that could genuinely qualify for the normal home all of a sudden just vastly outpriced. It wasn't even slow. It was like, whoa, just vast. And then I remember one of my biggest openings into the system was mid-2022, went to a real estate happy hour. They're the worst. Don't like talking with a bunch of people who just want commission and connections. I'm here. And so naturally, I just found like the biggest little social circle, just kind of weaseled my way into it and listened to conversation. Rates were the conversation, so the Federal Reserve got brought up. And one of the guys there said, it's crazy that they're not federal. I was like, bullshit. Yeah, they are. It's got federal in the name. What are you talking about? And it turns out they're not. And they don't have reserves. And then that brought me to 1910 and 1913. And then I learned more about Bretton Woods and the Nixon shock and the Yom Kippur War and the petrodollar. And you start learning through things like the Glass-Steagall Act, and we look at Citizens United, and you look at the margin change shifts from the SEC in 2004, and you're like, wait a minute. It seems like there were guardrails up. Why did we rip these out? And it sort of led us to the money printing marathon that led us into where we're at today, where assets are inflating at an incredible rate. Some say it's beautiful. I don't. I think that the next generation's getting screwed, and it stinks.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm and the other one more thing about it and this is where I'm going to get a little flustered. Okay, so Freddie Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have been watching Days of Our Lives continuously since 1988.
I already know where you're going.
Okay. And so like that is, and I have yet to ever meet any of the people on my story, like in person, because I feel like it could ruin it for me. Like, I don't know what it is, but I've caught a couple of his little videos and then I saw him on with you and I'm a little freaking out about it. Like, I can't even tell you, like, it's one of those things. And it's not like a starstruck thing, but it is kind of like a little bit because it's like that's Sonny Kyriakis. I'm sorry. I just
That's
had
who?
I had
What's his last name?
What?
Kyriakis is his last name?
Well, on the show, the character, he plays Sonny Kyriakis on
Man,
Days
they
of Our
given him
Lives.
a better name. That's awful.
Well, no, it's a Greek tycoon family. Like it's a dynasty really type thing. He's part of a dynasty.
We never really got into his character arc, but I would love to dig into it more.
But you know him like just through personally know him, or did you meet him in the content creator space?
The content creator space, but we've connected a few times now. We'll have to make the connection here so we can come on.
Oh my God, I'll freak out. I'll be
we'll make that happen. Easy.
I don't know that I can handle it.
We've had a few of those experiences over the course of building the channel.
I've had a couple, but that would be a big thing for me. Like I've never met anybody.
I had one this morning. I haven't been starstruck in a minute, but I went to go open my Instagram and Instagram does a good job. I'm sure you guys know.
Okay, Zach, we have to set this up. We got to set this up because I did not tell Jen about this. This is just between Zach and I.
Don't interrupt him.
No, I'm not interrupting
him.
He and I were chatting on Instagram ever so briefly because somebody that is very near and dear to your heart actually started following him personally on Instagram today. And I said, okay, I'm not going to let Jen know this. I'm going to let you. So now the floor is yours. So you're just like preempted for this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it does a really good job of, I'm sure you guys know, prioritizing through the litany of notifications like, oh, this cool person followed you or this person liked your comment. And I was about to come down to shoot my podcast and my boys in here just hear me go, like just real loud, just like gasped because Miss Rachel followed me.
Right?
I was like, what? And then I
know.
DM'd her and I said, you're the best. This is awesome. OMG. And then she responded. I'm like, what the heck? This is crazy.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Miss Rachel responded to you?
And responded. I was overwhelmed.
Wow.
Because She's the leading advocate right now, and honestly, such great proof of the propaganda effort from Israel that she's like the number one advocate for the kids around the world. And you know the amount of people that DM me like, you're platforming this Zionist controlled piece of propaganda. I'm like, Zionist? That don't even make sense. What are you talking about?
No, I love Miss Rachel. And the thing is, I wouldn't have known who she was really. I mean, I had an inkling because I have one friend with a toddler person, so I've heard of her, but I wouldn't have ever known. And she wasn't particularly political. And so this is an example of backfiring Hezbollah because they pissed her off and she's got quite a following. See, and she is the person that's going to be educating the younger people. And they can't handle that. And she wasn't going out of her way to talk about this. This wasn't like this wasn't her jam. But now it is.
Well, I think we have something to share with you, Zach, that I think Miss Rachel would probably approve of as well. Jen, you did a little social experiment earlier today, if you'd like to share.
Oh, you want me to do my slow burn? Okay, well, first I have to start with the graphic because this is the fancy. We're going to do today's slow burn, guys. And it's slow. It's slow, and yet it's a burn in more ways than one. So today, for people who don't realize, is Yom Kippur, or was, I guess, until sundown. And I am not a practicing Jew. I don't claim to be a practicing Jew, but it just happens to be Yom Kippur. So I thought this was an opportune moment to do this clip. So I filmed myself today, and this is where we are. Hi, everyone. Today is Yom Kippur, which is the Jewish Day of Atonement. So I thought that I would do what I do every year for what I atone for most, which is ever supporting this ethno-Zio hellscape that's committing a Holocaust. You see this? See it? See it? Fuck Israel, free Palestine. That's it. And I just sat there and watched it burn. That was what I did today.
Now, apparently that is a crime.
That just made me want to do it more.
You can burn the American flag if you want, but you can't burn the Israeli. If you burn the Israel flag in the state of Florida, you could technically be, I guess, could you get arrested for it? Is that what could happen?
Well, we're going to find out, I guess, but we'll see what happens. But I'm just one of those people, and people who know me, especially from childhood. If you tell me not to do something, I'm doing it with bells on. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it repeatedly. I'm going to do it in front of you repeatedly. Like, that's just how it's going to be. So don't tell me what I can do. Yeah. So there's that. And then I just thought that it was a good day of atonement to atone for being part of an ethno-Zio state.
When you started speaking out against this, did you have people telling you probably shouldn't do this? It's not a good idea, especially when you have a large platform, make money, it could probably get you in trouble. Did you ever have any second thoughts about speaking up against what was going on in Gaza? Or were you just like, you know what? It's the right thing to do. I got to do it.
Are you talking to me?
Talking to Zach.
Okay. I was going to say, my story.
Yes.
I decided, I don't know what the first mention of it was, but I decided to do it when I simply had done enough research on my own to come to a conclusion. And about everything. About the way our economy is set up, about the opportunity for the next generation, my thought process on whether or not we are walking toward an economic collapse and money printing. All these are opinions that I've generated off of other very smart individuals. I consider myself a professional sponge. I only followed sports growing up. I could tell you the backup right guard for most NFL teams, right? I couldn't tell you who was in a Senate seat or how many there were. Legislative branch sounds like it's part of a tree. I got no clue. I want to throw a ball. So coming of age and getting in the business and then having that business get shortfalled by the own economy it was running when, I started learning about it. And that got me to the top. And the billionaires and the Zionists and the mega corporations and the political leaders and the Epsteins, they're all in the same pot. They all connect back to the same things. Heck, did you know the 2008 housing market crash? Bear Stearns, the first bank that crashed, they were funneling their toxic mortgage assets through a Bermuda shell company ran by Jeffrey Epstein. There's so many connections that just every time you get to the bottom of it, it's like, really? You again? Like the CEO of Blackstone who founded Larry Fink and BlackRock, that he was the guy that gave Nixon the report that got us off the gold standard? That's weird. That's just, it's all odd. And you get down to the root of it. You get to the Balfour Declaration. You go look at the Rothschild family. It's all the same names, the same people that are perpetuating this nonsense to get us to get behind them for a war. Heck, my own religion. I am a Christian. My own religion has been blackballed into this European nationalist bullshit that is completely misbranded how following Christ should be modeled, and into this Judeo-Christian, like, what is even that? The people that crucified him, we're also going to take on some of their traits and their values? It doesn't make any sense. So it just, in seeing more and more and more for myself, just, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. Like, I'm a Christian. Do I have to support Israel? Is that really what I have to do? Or does Genesis 12 maybe have a different meaning? You know, are there other support? Oh, there are other supporting narratives. Okay. And then slowly building up. And it gave me the confidence with the baseline of my own research and others to know, okay, this is the right side of history. People are not going to like it because of mainstream media propagandizing them and believing their ideology is wrapped in a certain color of red or blue. That's on them. My job while I'm on this earth is to talk about the truth. And I believe this all wraps all the way back to the reason people can't afford housing. So I'm going to talk about it.
No, it's important. It's important. Yep. And denial of housing is violence. Denial of healthcare is violence. Denial of housing is violence. And when people start to realize that they're being violent against us, then it doesn't seem like things are just, random, when it's actually self-defense. Right.
Yeah,
like
violence used to be obvious. Like, they would show up with horses and swords across the valley. Like, you're like, oh, we're being attacked. Now it's just quiet and financial.
Exactly.
Well, I think it would only be fitting, since you do a really good job of putting content together in 2 to 3 minute clips, of all the clips that I actually pulled to basically introduce you to our audience tonight, it just so happened to have been the clip about Jeffrey Epstein. So we're going to play it right now.
Files and an affordable home. Listen to this. In 2000, there was a company named Liquid Funding LTE that was founded. It was founded in Bermuda and was known as a shell company. A shell company is when a real company buys a fake company in order to hide assets from their public shareholders.
Now, did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Do you now understand what a shell company is when you hear about? Because we're always saying, where are all these shell companies? Where are they going? Let's play it one more time. It's a little tutelage. We're going to learn. This is what a shell company is.
And was known as a shell company. A shell company is when a real company buys a fake company in order to hide assets from their public shareholders. The company that did this was named Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is a bank that fell on March 2008. It was the first domino that fell that created the housing market crash. Okay, check this out. So, Bear Stearns buys Liquid Funding Ltd. They utilize it as a shell company to hide what's called CMOs. They had toxic CMOs, toxic mortgages, subprime mortgages that they need reorganized, and they need them reorganized in a way that they could sell them back off as good mortgages. So what Liquid Funding did is they took all the mortgages from Bear Stearns for the most part and reshuffled them into new decks. Imagine they had all these playing cards out on the floor, and they were upside down and folded up and wet and weird, and their job was to dry clean, unfold, reorganize, and repackage a nice new deck they could sell off and make it look good, but in reality it was like a financial ticking time bomb.
That is essentially what happened. And I would assume that you've done even more extensive research pertaining to this. It really is a house of cards in so many ways.
And a lot of it goes back to that very year, 2008, because we get TARP. The toxic or troubled asset relief program that Henry Paulson brought in front of Congress for, I believe it was originally $700 billion, ended up only being like $400 billion. Only about $28 billion of that went to anything in regards to housing or a normal person. The rest went to top line accounts and bonuses. And we invented on the other side, because that was just a bank bailout, we invented QE. 2008 was supposed to be worse. The free market demanded more pain. And instead, we short-sighted it by printing money to buy bonds because bond rates were too high, freezing the credit market, freezing up banks. Banks weren't even lending to each other because they didn't trust each other's liquidity after Bear fell, after Lehman Brothers fell. So we're not getting new credit. They're not lending to one another. It completely froze. The only way to get bond rates down, to get the bond investor to trust our economy again, was to print boatloads of money and buy the bonds ourselves. And we've done it 4 times since, and we're going to have to do it again. So Bear was bailed out by a combination of the Federal Reserve and, they were bailed out. Lehman Brothers, they allowed to just kind of fall off the face of the earth. And Goldman Sachs was bailed out privately by Ken Lewis and Bank of America.
Yes, and the fear, of course, is that we're heading for another bailout situation because we are clearly in another recession. Anyone who knows anything about real estate knows we're in it. And so what are they going to do to actually deal with this problem? Are the rich ever going to bear responsibility? Not until you come after them with pitchforks. At least that's kind of the way I see it. It's a rigged game, and they've rigged it in their favor, and they'll continue to do it until we do something about it.
And this is why when we talk about housing, I typically say there's a better chance of it doubling than crashing, because there's no benefit to the billionaire for it to crash, and there's so much corporate ownership at this point. We don't have enough normal people that could get priced out.
Exactly.
And so I think it's even scarier to think about it never crashing. It just keeps going up and keeps going up. And then what was it? WEF's phrase of by 2030, you'll rent and be happy, rent everything and be happy.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going back to a feudalism. We're going to be serfs, and you'll own nothing and you'll be happy about that. And that's where it's going. I mean, it's horrifying.
Unless we do something about it. Finish it up.
This financial ticking time bomb led to the 2008 housing market crash. Bear Stearns was the first big domino that fell to cause it. And the chairman in charge of creating the collateralized mortgage obligations for Bear Stearns that inevitably were sold back out into the public banking market that caused the great financial crisis of 2008, their chairman was none other than Jeffrey Epstein. And if that doesn't grind your gears, I don't know what will.
Am I the only one that hates watching videos of myself?
I was just going to say, do you like, because I don't
only
like
going to do
Peter.
it once.
Peter knows I hate it. Like, and it had to happen enough times in running for Congress that I was like, it was really not good.
But I think that comes from a point of almost a point of perfection, which is a demon in and of itself. Being a perfectionist is not good. Being a people pleaser. But at the same time, you're not liking it, at least if it's coming from the same angle as me. It's like, oh, I could have said this a little bit better. Oh, I stuttered that. Kind of looking for the holes to improve.
Yeah, it's that. And just, I don't particularly need to hear myself. Like, if
I hear my own voice,
I'm
like, wow, I should just die. Got it.
Well, I think, and it doesn't bother me. I mean,
Peter likes to hear himself talk. That's why he has a whole show called Pontificating with Peter.
Well, he's got a nice, dark, sultry voice. I get it. It's like talking from the back.
Darling, behave. But speaking of a person who really loves to hear himself, and listen, in conclusion, there is no question that whatever we think we know about Epstein, whatever we think we know about the Mossad, we know this much. I often say, you're only allowed to know what the people who have real power allow you to know. And I know a few people who have real power. And I can assure you, as I assure the audience, as I assure the entire world, I have been around people that have power. And they look at us like we're ants. Like we do not matter.
Not at all.
It's a means to an end. And don't even think about getting out of line. That's just kind of how it is. Until we decide that that's not how it's going to be anymore. And I don't know what's going to fall first. I mean, it seems to me that we're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen because it's a succession of things right now. Like this country could not you couldn't pick a worse time to have a government shutdown. Like this makes no sense. And the reason that they're doing it is to defend a for-profit health system. It'd be one thing if they were fighting for single-payer health care, but they're not doing that. What they're doing is just trying to find an excuse to keep themselves on the good side of the corporate infrastructure. That's really all this is about. And at the same time, Jen, I know you really wanted to cover the story about Trump and his General Assembly, I guess would be the right way to put it.
Well, it's Pete. It's little Petey wanted to have a meeting with all the top generals and admirals, little Pete. And the nerve on that one, like he knows there's a video circulating of him not able to do a pull-up. And yet he actually stands there in front of a room full of people and like critiques their weight and their lack of physicality. Like you can't make this shit up. Did you see any of from the meeting? Zach, have you seen any of that?
I've watched some of the clips, yeah, but I haven't seen the lack of chin up, so that's funny.
Well, that was a different video that was circulating since he's been in there, like just how unfit he is. But he's in this room full of generals and admirals that he summoned. He summoned from around the world these men who have dedicated their lives to serving this country, that have probably paid dues that we can't even fathom. And this punk comes and summons them to come listen to him talk about the new War Department. Can you imagine? Like, that's some hubris right there.
Yeah, Trump's speech was very sad. It was really sad, Joe.
It was a bit
they think
dull. It was a bit. I mean, outside of him outing Portland for riots that happened 3.5 years ago, that was great. He sounded a bit tired.
He's on the downside. He's on the downside. There's no question. How long can he keep it up? I mean, the guy's 80 years old and he's a fat fuck. And he if he dies before the midterm, then it'll count as Vance's first term, and then you won't get him for 2 additional terms.
Yeah, that's the real elephant in the room, is that man named JD Vance. Because if you want to do any research, it doesn't even take 3 to 4 hours of just doodling around on Google and ChatGPT or whatever, Grok, to come to the conclusion that, oh yeah, this guy's a play. This guy's the plug. This guy's here for a reason.
Yeah. No, I mean, he works for Peter Thiel.
Yep. No doubt. I mean, every step along the way, it's not even hard to find. Like,
right.
The yarn on the corkboard to make the crazy conspiracy theory, like the yarn's like a ½ inch long. Like it's
right. It's right there.
At all. He funded everything.
Yeah, for sure. Are you going to play the clip of Trump?
Yes. Here we go.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
It almost sounds like fake laughter.
It's ridiculous. It sounds like canned laughter. I'm not sure that it was real. I don't think that if people laughed, it weren't the generals and the admirals. I could tell you, they weren't thinking this is funny. They're thinking, oh my God. And if they're smart, they're contacting their personal lawyers.
I also don't understand the whole point of bringing them there in the first place. What?
No. It was theater, distraction, theater, and basically just to get some sort of sense of who will be loyal and who will now put in their papers to retire because they don't want to work for this circus. So they're basically trying to like thin the herd, I guess, and figure out who's going to be loyal to them and violate their oath to the Constitution. That's what they're feeling out.
Zach, what do you think?
I don't know what to think anymore, man. It's for me, it's just not up for debate anymore that the guy has no realm of leadership within his biochemistry, just the way that he talks, his body language, the things he decides to speak on by the moment. I mean, a good example was when he was asked about Charlie Kirk and he immediately was like, oh yeah, I'm good. Look at the ballroom over here. It's just, or when he was touring the building with Jerome Powell, trying to gotcha him with the envelope, just constantly, because my come up to this, again, it was not political. My view of a leader comes from books. I read and have read so many different books on leadership from John Maxwell and Simon Sinek and Anthony Robbins and others like the Napoleon Hills that I needed because I ran and still run a real estate team and I want to be the best leader for them. That's the best way they can get the most out of their careers is if I'm leading them properly. So I'm indebted to learn how to lead. And I don't see any traits that exemplify a strong leader And when you tag on top of that, the lack of a successful record in past terms, the less than, I mean, it's awful character track record from free office. There's just nothing that lines up for me that says, oh yeah, this is the guy, other than the push for draining the swamp, which I will say, all things about MAGA to the side. Don't you guys feel like a group of people that in majority voted for a guy that wanted to drain the swamp of the problems? Doesn't that sound like the people are ready for a revolt?
They are.
Oh yeah.
And they were
now
just
the red team is pissed off.
misbranded. They just got misled, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys see the problem over here? Yeah, cool. Let's do this. But seriously, no, there's a problem over here. Like, these people wanted the problem solved. They thought they were getting the right guy in the door, but it just turns out he's also one of the guys. So I think both sides are primed and ready. The blues mad, the reds mad. Let's all get mad about Epstein and run.
Bingo.
Yeah, well, that's what we say. I'm like, okay, it's all fun and games till you pissed off the red people. You know, nobody's scared of the blue team because they're feckless. But now he's gone and pissed off his own red people. See, that's where we're going to get the revolution. That's exactly right. He facilitates it.
And again, it isn't even so much about being the red team. It's the fact that you have the populace of this country who flocked to him because of what happened to Bernie and what the Democrats did to him. And so as a result, you have the working class, armed working class, if you will, of this country who are sharpening their knives and polishing their guns. And it's only going to be a matter of time before, if you, again, can't own a home, do not have health care, everything is completely out of reach because inflation's out of control. You want to print another $5 trillion. Watch exactly what's going to happen when the only people who get their hands on it are at the very top. Yes, same problems, but much worse. Again, you can only choke them so hard for so long. Lincoln's greatest saying, you can fool some of the people all the time. You can fool all the people some of the time. You cannot fool all the people all of the time. And that is where we're at now. We're being mocked, and people don't want to be mocked, especially Americans. Americans don't like the mockery. So this is a mockery.
Let's see how much more of this. Let's see how much more of this we can stand of his.
But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. I'm very careful, you know, when I walk downstairs, like I'm on stairs, like these stairs, I walk very slowly. Nobody has to set a record. Just try not to fall, because it doesn't work out well. You walk nice and easy. You don't have to set any record. Be cool. We're the hottest country in the world right now. The absolute hottest country in the world. There's nobody even close. Putin said that to me. But I announced that, you know, based on his mention of nuclear, and it was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear, I moved a submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. Actually, I love my signature, I really do. Everyone loves my signature. We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard. But
okay. Yeah. So he's asking this room full of people to violate the oath they took to the Constitution and basically swear allegiance to him. That's what this is. This is some weird, like, nationalistic, some scary shit. But people in the world like Putin and Ping, they have to think he's a moron. They must think he's a moron. I mean, I can't imagine that anybody takes him seriously. He stood there and rambled like this and took these people from all over the world together, which first of all seems just really stupid, right? Like that just seems kind of strategically stupid to put all your top military people in one room and advertise it. I'm just saying. But then sat there and basically he went on like this for 70 minutes. And these people were summoned here from all over the world, leaving what I'm sure was more important than this, for them to be able to have, like, you know, theater.
It shows evidence of what we're talking about. I'm sure you guys mention all the time that it's all the same team. The only reason that the politicians Oh, yeah. The only reason the billionaires and the political leaders and the corporations and everyone deals with it is because they're all playing the same game.
Oh yeah, for
that,
sure.
What was the meeting last week where Trump had like 150 techno billionaires and Larry Fink and all them over for dinner at the White House? Just pretty much every techno world leader, Peter Thiel, Leon Black, everybody, just all in the same room. Just like these are all the evil people, all just having dinner and publicizing it, and we know it. And it's like, what do you do? What do you do when we see the problems for what they are? People can't buy a house. Shelter. Once you get the shelter, now you got to pay the mortgage, the power bill, the water bill. God forbid you have a child and have to pay child care. It's another mortgage now, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't get why nobody is doing anything, or even from the red. Anybody from the red in the space here in this, look up Agenda 47, 20 promises. Promise number 4, go to page 3, subsection 1. It's housing. It's talking about housing affordability, first-time home buyer benefits, lower rates, more incentives for builders to build small. He's had over 200 executive orders, none about real estate. Just that. Just let's focus that part. Promise not met. And we created a Trump tracker out of my own frustration. It's on my page. It's in my bio. If you go to my bio, Trump tracker, it's tracking every promise he's made against real data. And none of them are moving toward the goal.
No.
None of them.
No.
Housing has become more unaffordable. Rates have gone up, even though the Fed rate got cut. Rates for insurance, rates for rent, nationally, regionally. There's only select subsections where prices are going down, and it's West Coast Florida, Austin, Texas, and areas of California, and then the hurricane states of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida, of course, as well. But the normal market's not struggling because you just don't have inventory.
Yeah.
Where are you based, Zach?
Delaware.
Of all places, the
Of
tax
all
haven
places.
capital of the United States.
Now, let me tell you right now, especially for a realtor listening in, I'm in the best state to sell real estate. We're
Probably.
cheaper. So we got great beaches that aren't kitschy, like in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, all the way down to Florida, and not super expensive like Manhattan Beach. Perfect middle ground. No shopping tax, $350K median home, so still not super expensive. And people come from Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Philly, Concord, Connecticut, Maine to go to somewhere cheaper. So I just have an unlimited amount of people to work with. And we just made a YouTube channel, and I talk to those people on YouTube. We get those leads in. We can work our clients, but at the same time, it gives me the room on TikTok and Instagram and other places to have a different message. I don't have to push for commissions, which has been my main struggle of making sure that my family still eats, my business still operates, the people within it are still paid and successful while I advocate for something that I know is not going to generate further business growth.
Well, if you're interested, I am
Yeah.
1000% strictly on the commercial side. I do not dabble in residential even for a hot minute. I am in the multifamily space, but I got to tell you, you can lay your head down at night a lot easier when you're investing in real retail strip centers and industrial parks versus having to own property that you have to determine whether a person can put a roof over their head. That's a big thing. And if you don't have a moral compass, which again, I've been to my fair share of Cardone events in Miami, there's quite a few of them that don't. But the dirty secret about Cardone is that he's backed up by Blackstone, which dirty little secret about the business, about the way some of these grifters get away with it. But yeah, it's very tough. And it's not easy, even for those that are doing well. The shoe could drop at any moment, no question.
Agreed.
I do want to play one last little clip because we would be amiss to not let the, Poindexter that could, at least he tried to be anyway. You want to talk about a person who is in over their head in a job that they have no business having? Pete Hegseth would be the best example of somebody who should not have the position he has.
He's so ridiculous.
Farce that he has it, but I digress.
We are overhauling an inspector general process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. We're doing the same with the equal opportunity and military equal opportunity policies, the EO and MEO at our department. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, No more repeat complainants. No more smearing reputations. No more endless waiting. No more legal limbo. No more sidetracking careers. No more walking on eggshells.
Okay, so we can just harass and violate people at will. That's what he's basically saying.
I got to tell you, Zach, I'm getting a little Pace Morby, Tyler Devereaux vibe with the walking back and forth, like he's trying to sell something to these generals.
He's
He
ridiculous.
does have that salesy vibe about the way he talks. Yeah.
Ugh.
He's
and the hands, it's the whole thing. It's the whole disposition. It reeks of snake oil. You can smell it from a mile away.
Well, just the fact that the chief of the Department of War on that speech, he mentions peace like 17 times. Like that's directly against your new title.
Yeah. Well, I've seen other parts, but the best clip of the whole thing, if people haven't seen it, is where he ends. And you could tell he was expecting this sort of like raucous applause. And there was not a sound, which is why when Trump came out and he said, God, this is the quietest room ever. Why that's so funny, because that's what happened when Pete Hegseth thought he was going to get an applause and nobody said anything. And he just walked off and he put his head down. Like it looked pathetic.
The good news is that you're not too far from DC, and we have had the privilege of having Anthony Aguilar on our channel a couple of times already. He's a big supporter of us as we are of him, and he has said repeatedly that we need to be in the people's house at all times. Everyone has an opinion about January 6th, but the fact of the matter is we are not a nation that regularly goes to the Capitol. That is the people's house. We have a right to be there, and we have a right to make those people nuts. We have a right to make them miserable because they work for us, not the other way around. They work for corporate special interests. Yes, we understand that. But in the end, they're only as good as the people that are willing to put them there. And I do feel that it is incumbent upon us, as you were just saying, to hell with this red versus blue bullshit. The working class is uniting in this country. And you can thank Israel for having a lot to do with that. But hey, we'll take what we can get. We are at a point now where something's going to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to look like. But we've reached a point of no return in how business is done in this country. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So now the question becomes, what do we do? And so I believe that when we have these conversations, one content creator to another, we share our audience. People are aware of what this message is about. People have to be collectively working together. And there has to be action that is taken. There is no point in having these platforms if we are not taking legitimate action to deal with this problem. I don't know how to solve the housing crisis in the United States. But if there's one thing I know definitively that would make the housing situation better for everybody, private equity cannot be in housing anymore.
I know how to solve the housing problem.
Oh, how?
Give people fucking houses.
Well, that'd be nice.
And there's no problem.
Well, it's hard to substantiate that claim. Like we don't have the budget to, go buy $280,000 home pops, but I think there's definitely room to incentivize builders to build smaller homes. They need incentives.
We need many different things. We need rezoning. We need small sustainable communities.
Zoning is
we need
inherently
walkable areas. We need so many things, but giving people shelter when I know that there is a ton of empty houses around the entire country nobody is occupying these. This is not rocket science. Give people shelter. It's not rocket science. Not everybody needs to have a huge home. That's not what I'm saying, but everybody needs to have shelter and a life of dignity. This is ridiculous. Richest country in the world. We've got people living on our streets.
Yeah.
No.
As a veteran, knowing there's 1 million+ veterans that are homeless, I mean, that's just inexcusable.
That's doubly fucked. Like, it's almost like that's a convergence of two things that are just so unbelievably unjust.
Yeah. Well, then you factor in all of I'm guessing you're probably close to Wilmington, but, Philadelphia is not far away. Baltimore is not far away. And the only housing that anybody wants to build is top market rate housing. That's what they're looking for. You know, for them, it's the margins. You know, how do we get the most out of this investment? It isn't about what can we do to make the community a better place to live.
Yeah.
So many of these problems are easily correctable as far as I'm concerned. You can choose to be greedy, or you could choose to be moral. You can be successful and be moral.
Yeah, and just like let's go bring sports into government. Like, if you do exceedingly well or pay exceedingly much to win, you're going to be penalized for it. We're going to put a luxury tax on you. If you win the championship, you're going to draft 32nd in the next draft. Like, you're not going to go and get the best pick. You're the best team. You get pushed to just a little bit of that. Like, if you have a property that you profit off of, your property tax should double. Done. You're going to get supply of affordable homes, less investors, problem helped. We need to create an investor ladder. If I go to buy a home as a veteran, I have to pay a VA funding fee. I have to pay a fee to use my own VA loan. Why don't we do the same thing for an investor? Why don't we have a 2% fee? If you're investing in this property, you plan to profit on this property that someone could buy. If you're taking a home, we're also going to make a home. 2% fee of the purchase price. We're not going to mess with the cash flow, blah, 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 blah. Go over here. You're now going to put that money into a state-run first-time home buyer fund, pay down rate, down payment assistance, blah, blah, blah. So in that case, if you have more units, you pay a higher fee. And if you're buying more homes, you're help supplying more homes to a first-time buyer. Because if we just took that fee, 2% of every investment home that was purchased in the last 2 years, that fund would be over $50 billion. That's 2.5 times what we're about to send Argentina.
Hey, the Zion Nazis have to have a place to go, brother.
But even if you view the economy as the rich do, as just a working colony of ants,
yes.
If you view your company the same way Henry Ford did, as it's the workers' health and happiness as a means to my health and happiness. Right. It was selfish in his motive against the Dodge brothers, but inevitably he fought for his employees to at least get more versus the shareholders at the least. And losing that battle cemented in, we care about the shareholders of companies more than the people who have a share in this country. They want us to argue with our neighbors, so they buy the neighborhoods. We need to get corporations out of buying any form of single family homes. We can do what Canada did and say for the first 45 days of any home listed, nobody can purchase a property if they do not plan to live in it. We could put fees on the purchase. We can raise the taxes on those that are purchased for profit. And heck, just putting together something that allows a first-time home buyer to get a sub 2% mortgage. If it was 7, they get 5. If it's 6, they get 4. We can fund that. We can do that. But instead, we're funding wars, and they're making you think that you're anti-patriotic for not supporting the main thing that is funding you out of the American dream, which is the middle class gateway drug to wealth. So it's infuriating.
Yeah. And this is also where modern monetary theory has its solidification, which is so much of the capitalist infrastructure is based on austerity, based on this idea of we have to withhold as much as we can from people because otherwise the trickle-down theory of economics can't possibly work. We have to create this illusion that you can get to the top, but you're going to have to step over a whole bunch of other people in order to get there. And that is a very apocalyptic way of looking at things, because that is where we're headed now. I don't know how the average person can look around at what is in front of us and think that we're not heading for a cataclysmic circumstance if we're not there already. You just have to be completely blind and willfully ignorant not to see it. I believe that the cog in the equation that has to be dealt with first is Israel. And then as soon as that is done, we can really draw the attention back to the domestic side in a robust way. But it's not going to come through Republicans and Democrats. It's not going to happen. Like, we will not vote our way out of this. Jen, you say that all the time.
Oh, no, that ship sailed. Your last option for that might have been 2015 for the 2016 election, but that ship sailed.
Yeah.
There's no voting for this.
There's also a lack of trust that will never be regained. You can't do what you did to Bernie Sanders, especially then, and think that you're ever going to regain that trust. There has been nothing that has been amended as far as how elections are done. And everyone's saying, we're trying to save our democracy. We're trying to say, no, you let it go a long time ago. Now you're just noticing that people actually are paying attention. And once that happens, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to end, but I do believe that the housing crisis is going to create, if it hasn't already, I mean, like the fact that we dealt with this a decade ago, just over a decade ago, and it's back again. I don't know how there is going to not be civil unrest in a way that we didn't see then. This time, I think we're going to see it, and we're going to see it in a big way. So it will be interesting to see how it unfolds. And as we wind down the conversation, Zach, I am curious as to what your prediction is going to be in terms of what we can expect to see in the short term, not just the long term. Because like I said, I think we're heading for some type of a cataclysmic shift. There's going to be a lot of pain involved. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I have my suspicions as to what it will be. That's why you're seeing the cop cities pop up all over the United States. We're creating some type of a police state.
Oh, we're there.
But it's not going to hold. I just don't think it's going to hold. I just think that this country is eventually going to say, to hell with this shit. What have I got to lose? There's going to be more Luigi Mangionis, people.
So to parse it into two sections. Short term, I said back in April, Liberation Day was the first domino that's going to fall and potentially the biggest economic collapse we've ever seen. Reason being, we're sitting on a pile of debt. It's a house of cards. Our bond investors don't trust the bond market anymore. Our auctions have been extremely slow and weak over the summer. And that is the most unpartisan way of examining the health of our economy. It's not the stock market. It's not the GDP. It's what investors think about our economy. And if that doesn't come down, rates for us won't come down. And if rates for us won't come down, all while consumer spending's dropping, consumer debt is rising, people are having more defaults at a retail level, we're going to have to print money. It's the only option. We'll have to go into QE5. We'll print money to buy bonds, to suppress the bonds, to lower rates, to unlock more credit, get more debt. I believe long-term, guys, that home prices only go up. And anybody hearing this that doesn't own a home is not going to like that. But 1 out of 4 home purchases is by an investor. That's new. It used to be 1 out of 8 to 1 out of 10. The average first-time home buyer age used to be 29. Now it's 38. According to NAR, the median amount needed to be made a year to buy a first-time buyer home used to be $49,000 7 years ago. Now it's $108,000. Every number just keeps going up dramatically. And the problem is we're walking into what I think is going to be called the Great Lockout. We have a group of investors that don't want to lose their cash flow. We have a group of retirees that don't have anything that they're paying on except for their mortgage. In Delaware, they don't have to pay property taxes, and they're just going to sit pretty. They couldn't afford any other home if they had to move. And then you have the people who got a low rate, which is more than 80% of current homeowners have a sub 4% mortgage rate. They're paying $1,200 a month. What financial tsunami is going to hit them and force them out of the only asset they own? It's going to take something really big. And then there's the fact that 40% of all homes in America don't even have a mortgage. I only see a world where home prices go up, frankly, because people are desperate for shelter. We have more and more people building up that need it. And if we don't do something government-wise to increase the supply, increase small homes, give homes, 3D print homes, container homes, start building vertically in rural areas, there's so many different conversations that could be had, zoning and otherwise, which, by the way, most zoning laws were put in place by 1969, and you could only get a mortgage if you were a white male in 1969. So our zoning laws are pretty freaking racist. And it's all culminating to today, kind of how we started the conversation. We've been releasing guardrails year after year, administration after administration, and that's only going to fuel the monetary base expansion we're already seeing from the BBB. It's going to go up in price, and I hate that. I would love to sit here and say rates will get back down to 3%, and that 400K home will be 300K again. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty sour note to conclude on, however.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad.
The truth hurts, but you have to always tell the truth. I don't believe in we're the hottest country in the world right now. We're doing really great.
Oh, yeah, we're winning.
We're winning.
Oh, we're winning.
Winning.
Totally winning. No, we're not winning. And anyone who continues to listen to the losing coach, well, we're all going to lose. So hopefully that's not the case. But guys, please make sure that you follow the links in the description for Mr. Foust. He has been a fantastic guest informing us.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes. About
I'd be happy to come again. This is cool.
Yes, 100%. And thank you for all that you do. We'll have some clips up. So if you want to share them on Instagram, that would be awesome. We'll have some shorts. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, remember, links in the description. Zach, thank you so much for all that you do. Again, it's a thankless position in many ways because people like you and I, we're capitalists, so we're evil people by nature. But they have to accept the fact that, in my opinion, there is a difference between supporting a free market and supporting.
Oh my God. Your justifications for screwing the poor are very touching. Would you tell Freddie that you met a really big fan? Okay.
Yes,
just tell him. Like really. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. You got it. Guys.
I can't even I can't.
I'll make it happen. Whatever his weird Czechoslovakian name you said he was.
It's Greek.
What's his name again? I want to write it down. I want to call him it.
Yeah. Okay. So his legal name is actually Jackson Kyriakis. 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 And everybody calls him Sonny. And the fact that I know that his name is really Jackson should impress him.
Got it. So if I just say, "What's up, Jackson?" He's gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Like, who you been talking to?
Who you been talking to? Only one of your biggest fans.
Like I have a longer relationship with that story than with my husband. Like I'm telling you, since 1988, continuously, I have been watching Days of Our Lives.
I love that. Guys, thank you so much. You put on a good show. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, brother. Zach was great. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, the links are in the description. And also, make sure that you do go over to patreon.com/revolutionary change for as little as $5 a month. You can become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel. And of course, we do have some additional YouTube contributions. I was going to say patrons, but no. We do have some additional contributions we really appreciate.
It's all helpful, guys. It really is. It's helpful. And quite honestly, it's nice to feel appreciated.
It is. Yeah. Leroy Brown with the 199. New fan. Love the show. Rothbone got me here. Jen, by the way, Rothbone did a whole segment on us the other day.
Oh, really? You're going to have to forward me. I need to see that. Leroy Brown with the Neo from the Matrix avatar is very interesting, but Leroy, are you from the south side of Chicago?
Actually, if I remember correctly, I think he said he's from South Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go figure.
Well, he should be from the south side of Chicago.
Piano Man with the $10. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Piano Man.
Amazing support. Kate with the $9.99. Thank you. One day, Wasserman Schultz will have her last perm, and then you'll need to be there to take her seat. One of these days, Wasserman Schultz will have.
It got hit twice. Yeah.
Yes. You will need to okay. I thought it actually said something else, but thank you very much.
I won't be here, unfortunately.
Somebody's going to get it. I have a couple.
Yeah, but it'll be a Republican, and yeah.
At the rate it's going right now, considering how much the Democratic Party is dying everywhere, especially in Florida, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Right.
Pirate Justin, always a pleasure. Thank you for the $5. What are you atoning for today, Jen? Gamar
Hatima Tova. Gamar Hatima Tova. I maybe you came after I did my little clip of my atonement. I atone for being used as a tool of ethnic cleansing for the Zio state. That's what I atone for. But that's definitely gonna probably be the top of my list regularly.
Understandable. Dadius with the $9.99. Thank you very much. You guys are great. You're one of the many you're one of many that deserve support. Thank you very much.
Pirate Justin, go back and watch the clip we did about my atonement at some point. Check it out.
That's going to be a clip. That's going to be a short as well. We'll see if Jen gets arrested.
It could happen.
It could happen. I mean, technically, it is breaking the law. And let me tell you, I'll send it to Wasserman Schultz because she'd be the person who would call the police on you to get you arrested. That is something Wasserman Schultz actually does, by the way. She does call the police. That is thing.
She tried to get Medea arrested for assault, which is so hilarious. It's just ridiculous.
A big shout out to Jacqueline. Thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Thrilled to have you here. And of course, if you guys are considering support for the channel. Again, patreon.com/revolutionary change. And again, for as little as $5 a month, you could become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel, which as of this moment, did say at the top that we were at 66,000 subscribers. We had just passed it. We are now about to pass 66,250 subscribers. So,
Travers.
Yeah.
He keeps purposefully conflating Yom Kippur with kippers.
Kippers?
You know, kippers, like the fish.
Oh,
like
yeah.
kippers. I think is that a British thing? What is that?
It might be.
It's kippers. I mean, I know what it is. I know what kippers are, but I don't know what the origin is. But no, it's Yom Kippur.
We have said that this is one nation under blackmail. We have also said that if any legislation, if any proposals are approved by Israel, run as far away from them as you possibly can. The idea that we're going to have some type of a ceasefire is just another distraction, as you would suggest, Jen?
Oh, well, it's so fucked up on so many levels, you know, that this is one of those where it's the caucasity of the situation. This is what I talk about when I say the utter caucasity. So these two, like, colonizers are sitting there and discussing what they're going to do with the oppressed and then calling it some sort of plan. Yeah, no, that's not a peace plan. That's you deciding the level of oppression and what you're going to do to your colony. That's what that is. So absurd. It's insulting. It just makes me want to, like, I can't. I just fucking can't.
The supposed ceasefire, which is not happening, but there's
no need for a ceasefire. There's no fucking war. We're beyond that. We need them to stop a Holocaust. Stop calling it a ceasefire. Oh my God.
We're raging pretty hard here tonight.
That's infuriating to me. The idea that they called this a plan for a ceasefire without including the people that are being fired upon. Oh,
With that said, friend of the show, and we're going to go through the line items, but we want to get to somebody who we think very highly of. One of the first people we were fortunate enough to connect with after October 7th, 2023. Again, Monday is going to be the 2-year anniversary. Anniversary is not even the right word, but
no, we can't. No, it will be 2 years
later
of Holocaust.
2 years.
Well,
2 years of Holocaust.
2 years of the final solution of a 77-year ethnic cleansing, project. But yes,
we will discuss that on Monday. Omar Badar is one of the best outspoken individuals on this particular issue. This is what he had to say regarding the 20-point plan that I put together that's going to have a ceasefire. Not really.
Some positive elements in this plan. It talks about how there's not going to be annexation of Gaza, how there's not going to be forced ethnic cleansing. But there is a poison pill in this deal, which basically says that Israel gets to indefinitely occupy a so-called security perimeter inside Gaza with no timeline for withdrawal. And basically Israel gets to decide on its own when it might feel like leaving, which might in fact never happen. And in that sense, it is reproducing not just a problem that has existed in Gaza, but a problem that has existed in the entire dynamic between Palestine and Israel, which is that Palestinians are being asked once again to live as a captive population under complete and total Israeli control and domination with no prospect for being a free people in their own country.
See, I don't care what it says. That's the thing. We have all the points to the plan, right? We have the 12-point plan or whatever this ridiculous nonsense is. But here's the thing. I don't care what the plan is. One, I don't believe a word that comes out of their mouths. Not even a little bit. So even if they say that's what they're going to do, it's not what they're going to do. And second of all, let's say hypothetically, it was a really grand plan and I thought it sounded great. It's fucking irrelevant. You're not including the people that the plan affects. They're not part of the discussion. So this is the caucasity of this shit is like, I just can't. It's so infuriating.
And frankly, I think right now, at the rate of this genocide, with the level of starvation that Israel has imposed on Gaza, with killing nearly 100 people every single day, with snipers taking out Palestinian children, there might be a level of desperation in Gaza of people who just want the killing and the starvation to stop, that I wouldn't be surprised if there was some level of support for a ceasefire at any cost. But again, once that killing ends, people ultimately have an innate desire to be a free people. And as long as that is being denied to Palestinians, as is the case right now, this simply cannot succeed. We can't continue with this mindset of treating Palestinians as subjects that can be ruled by Israel or ruled by any foreign powers that get imposed on them. This is ultimately going to have to be up to the Palestinian people to govern themselves. And we have to recognize that you can't just solve this problem short term by imposing absurd conditions in exchange for a ceasefire, when you need to be dealing with the underlying problem, and that is the denial of freedom for Palestinians.
Just look at that.
I'm
And the scary part is that there are going to be people that are going to come out after the fact and say, I had no idea this was going on. I thought that they were just going after Hamas.
No, they won't. Nobody's going to say that. The receipts are too clear. Nobody's going to say that. That's why the line is where the line is. The line has been drawn. You're either on one side of it or the other side. And there's no coming back. I gave people even up to a 3-week grace period after October 7th. And I've said it before. Look, we on the people that are fighting for justice in the world, we're happy to get people at any point in their enlightenment on our side, on our mission, on our what we're trying to accomplish. Like, I'll take anybody if they figure it out today. Sure, politically, yeah, that's great. You could be on our team. Personally, no. Anybody who is not on the right side of history within the first couple of weeks of this is not anybody that I could have in my life. I just can't.
No.
That's just personal. Just saying.
And I'm still dealing with people that are still trying to justify what's going on.
This is why I'm a hermit. Oh, and I have to leave here. There's too many Zios here.
I don't blame you. It makes sense. But this is just the beginning. We're going to present to you the 20-point plan, the really great plan that I have. This is totally concocted these really great ideas. I totally came up with them.
This is the colonizers' plan for the people that they're Holocausting. Yeah.
President Donald Trump, comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict. Gaza will be de-radicalized, terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors.
Well, then I guess the only way to make it a terror-free zone is to get the terrorists out of there, right? We could do that. Then we have to lance Israel like a fucking boil off humanity, and then those are the terrorists, and then they'll stop being there. That will solve the problem.
Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough.
Oh, that's nice of you. That's nice of you to acknowledge that they've suffered more than enough. How big of you?
Well, we're going to build some really beautiful golf courses, and they'll be able to play on them all day long, believe me. If both sides agree to this proposal, the war will immediately end. Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed-upon line to prepare for a hostage release. During this time, all military operations, including aerial and artillery bombardment, will be suspended, and battle lines will remain frozen until conditions are met with the complete staged withdrawal. Interesting. Number 4. Within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting this agreement, all hostages alive and deceased will be released.
Wait. Are we talking about Palestinian hostages that have been held for however, like there's 10,000 of them? Are we talking about those hostages? Because this doesn't specify which hostages they're talking about. I agree. There should be a hostage exchange. But it's
going to be about 10,000 to 1. But hey, at least it'll be done.
Once all the hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained. They are specifying the numbers of people they're willing to negotiate to leave when I'm going to vomit. This is so disgusting.
Well, since you started number 5, please finish it.
Fine. Prisoners since October 7, 2023, including all women and children detained in that context. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased Gazans. Are we?
How could you not? I mean, all I could do is laugh.
I am freaking out. Like, that's insane. Oh my God. That is caucasity.
Once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receive countries. I just want to
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're going to throw out a fucking red carpet out for them and give them safe passage.
I just want to know who buys this. Anybody who reads this is thinking, yeah, they're totally honest operators. There's no way they would not be doing something like this. Keep going, Colin. Keep going, Colin. There you go. No, went a little too far.
Oh, leave Colin be.
There you go. Stop.
You could have just said number 7.
Okay, well, then that's what I'll do from now on. Upon acceptance of this agreement, full aid will be immediately sent into the Gaza Strip. At a minimum, aid quantities will be consistent with what was included in the January 19, 2025 agreement regarding humanitarian aid, including rehabilitation of infrastructure, water, electricity, sewage, rehabilitation of hospitals and bakeries, and entry of necessary equipment to remove rubble and open roads. Entry of distribution and aid in the Gaza Strip will proceed without interference from the two parties through the UN and its agencies in the Red Crescent, in addition to other international institutions not associated in any manner with either party. Opening the Rafah crossing in both directions will be subject to the same mechanism implemented under the January 19, 2025 agreement. Jen, your turn.
I just need to tell Paul King, it's not Jews, it's Israelis and Zios. I'm Jewish. I'm not, I hope I can be forgiven. So let's try to tone it down in there. All right. Number 9, Gaza will be, this is what we're talking about? Fucking Tony Blair is coming in like the colonizing mayor of Gaza. I can't, I don't even know how to process.
I'll say this, but I've said it before. I'll say it again. What the fuck do they have on Trump?
Gaza will be governed under the temporary transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee responsible for delivering the day-to-day running of public services and municipalities for the people of Gaza. You mean like you've kept it how it was in the first place, except now the committee will be made up of qualified Palestinians and international experts. Now, I am curious what a qualified Palestinian is. Qualified by whom? Qualified to be your bitch and sell out their own people like Jews were capos, like that? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. You'll find acceptable Palestinians, qualified. I'm sorry. Oversight and supervision by a new international transitional body, the Board of Peace. Interesting when we just switched over to the Department of War. We'll get back to that. Which will be headed and chaired by President Donald J. Trump. So he's the chair of the Board of Peace. Okay. Okay. With other members and heads of state to be announced, including former war criminal Prime Minister Tony Blair. This body will set the framework and handle the funding. Yes, because that's what we're going to trust. We're going to trust somebody who's filed bankruptcy 100 times and has been impeached twice to handle the money. And then this total war criminal piece of shit that I'm pretty sure everyone in the UK hates. So I don't know, these people just will not go away. They won't go away. They need the hook. That's what my mom used to say. Give them the hook. I can't. Okay, so they're in charge of the money. This body will set the framework for the redevelopment of Gaza until such time as the Palestinian Authority has completed its reform program as outlined in various proposals, including President Trump's peace plan in 2020. So you're really, this is like reminding me of the reprogramming of native people in this country to special schools to like, you want to reprogram the native out of them. So they have to complete the reform program. Okay. In the Saudi French proposal can securely and effectively take back control of Gaza. Yeah, no. Take your white supremacist colonizing shit and shove it up your ass. Nobody wants this plan. Like that. Nope. I am so angry.
Finish it, please.
I can't. Just keep going. We got the gist of point number 5 or 9 or whatever.
This body will call on best international standards to create modern and efficient government that serves the people of Gaza and is conducive to attracting investment. Well, there it is. It's all about investment in the end. Keep scrolling, Colin. Let's get to number 10. Number 10, a Trump economic development plan to rebuild and energize Gaza will be created by convening a panel of experts who have helped birth some of the thriving modern miracle cities in the Middle East. Again, the whole idea is to westernize Gaza.
They want to make it into, they want to do Dubai. Yes. Like, and by the way, the same type of people that are Zios are the same type of people that vacation in Dubai. Same people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Many thoughtful investment proposals. It's so clear as day what they're fucking doing. And exciting development ideas have been crafted by well-meaning international groups and will be considered to synthesize the security and governance frameworks to attract and facilitate these investments that will create jobs, opportunity, and hope for future Gaza. Number 11. A special economic zone will be established with preferred tariff and access rates to be negotiated with participating countries.
So basically sort of like a tax haven is what you're saying, right? Like you're creating like a nice haven for the criminals that are investing in this. That the Gaza Riviera, right? Like Dubai, a lot of beachfront property, right, Jared Kushner? That's what you're working on. And so you want to have a special economic zone so that you can do it without paying for it, right? Like you're going to even try to launder the money that you're making off of dead Palestinians. You disgusting people.
Number 12.
You can't make this shit up.
No one will be forced to leave Gaza, and those who wish to leave will be free to do so and free to return. We will encourage people to stay and offer them the opportunity to build a better Gaza.
Okay, first of all, they are never letting you come back if you leave, and people know that. You can't believe a word that comes out of their mouth, but they're free to leave. But they've been living in a concentration camp and being bombed extensively for 2 years. So where are they free to go? And you revoked all their visas. So they can't even come here when we blow off their arms and legs, and the children can't even come here for treatment because you're not allowing them to have visas. So where the fuck are they free to go? And they have no passport. They have nothing.
Unlucky number 13, and we all know this one will probably be really bad. Hamas and other factions agree to not have any role in the governance of Gaza directly, indirectly, or in any form. All military, terror, and offensive infrastructure, including tunnels and weapons production facilities, will be destroyed and not rebuilt. There will be a process of demilitarization of Gaza under the supervision of independent monitors, which will include placing weapons permanently beyond use through an agreed process of decommissioning and supported by an internationally funded buyback and reintegration program, all verified by the independent monitors. New Gaza, as it's being called, will be fully committed to building a prosperous economy and to a peaceful coexistence with their neighbors. So basically what they're telling you is, and this is unlucky number 13, you cannot defend yourselves. You have no protections. This is why I'm a huge advocate for the Constitution in particular. As much as I am the First Amendment, I'm an advocate for the Second Amendment, and I don't even have a gun. But you know what? At least you're allowed to be armed if you want to be in this country. They're basically telling you, you have no way of being armed. You can't protect yourself. This is a police state if you haven't been paying attention.
Well, look what they did to Libya. Well, you disarm and we'll take care of you. Yeah, we see how that worked out. Let me tell you something. Like, heads up, note to Iran, build the nuke. Build the nuke. Build whatever do not believe a word that comes out of these people's mouth. We're like basically hostages here. Like I feel like SOS to the Persians, to the Chinese, to the Russians, SOS. Like we are in free fall.
Number 14, a guarantee will be provided by regional partners to ensure that Hamas and the factions comply with their obligations and that they're calling it New Gaza. That is such a Western.
It's colonizing. It's colonial words.
Yeah, that's what it is. Poses no threat to its neighbors or its people. Number 15. The U.S. will work with Arab and international partners to develop a temporary international stabilization force, or the ISF, to immediately deploy in Gaza. The ISF will train and provide support to vetted Palestinian police forces in Gaza and will consult with Jordan and Egypt, who have extensive experience in this field.
You mean they're on the payroll? That's what you mean. You mean that Jordan and Egypt are on our payroll so that they'll just do whatever you say. That's translation. Sorry. I digress.
This force will be long-term internal security solution. The ISF will work with Israel and Egypt to help secure border areas, along with newly trained Palestinian police forces. It is critical to prevent munitions from entering Gaza and to facilitate the rapid and secure flow of goods to rebuild and revitalize Gaza. A deconfliction mechanism will be agreed upon by the parties.
Which parties?
Not Palestinians. Scroll down, scroll up, Colin, please.
This is never going to happen, by the way. This is never going to happen. That's how stupid this is.
Hey, you only needed to put in one poison pill policy in the point plan. Instead, you basically made the entire thing a poison pill, which I'm sure was the intention anyway.
This is one of, I don't think that I've seen something like this colonizing this empire, this brazenly bigoted white supremacist document since like the Monroe Doctrine. You know what I mean? Like this is absurd. It's like fiction.
Oh, it is.
I am just like, I don't even, this will never fucking happen. This will never happen. The Palestinians will never agree to this bullshit. Never. So that's, which I think they know that too. Of course they know that.
Of course. Sweet 16. Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza as the ISF establishes control and stability. The IDF or the IOF will withdraw based on standards, milestones, and timeframes linked to demilitarization that will be agreed upon between the IDF, ISF, the guarantors, and the U.S. with the objective of a secure Gaza that no longer poses a threat to Israel, Egypt, or its citizens. Practically, the IDF will progressively hand over the Gaza territory it occupies to the ISF, according to an agreement they will make with the transitional authority until they are withdrawn completely from Gaza, save for a security perimeter presence that will remain until Gaza is properly secure from any resurgent terror threat. I think we all know what this means. The whole point.
How many more ridiculous points are there to this stupid thing?
Just these and one more.
This is just absurd.
You want to read one?
This is like, no, I know this is one of those things where you'll call me wokey, okay? And I get it, but this is actually just so disgustingly bigoted on its face.
It's
just.
The whole point of it, I want you to read the next one.
In the event, this is number 17. In the event Hamas delays or rejects this proposal, the above, including the scaled up aid operation, will proceed in the terror-free areas handed over from the IOF to the ISF. Oh, well, that's nice. So now we're going to bring in some more like private contractors and shit so people can profit off of this ridiculous plan that will never do anything.
Mm-hmm. The whole point is to dehumanize them. Number 8. We'll post game it in a second. Number 8.
Freaking out.
An interfaith dialogue. Interfaith dialogue.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's a religious problem.
An interfaith dialogue process will be established based on the values of tolerance and peaceful coexistence to try and change mindsets and narratives of Palestinians and Israelis by emphasizing the benefits that can be derived from peace.
You're a fucking moron. Whoever wrote this is a fucking moron.
Feeling like George W. Bush right now. Number 19, while Gaza redevelopment advances and when the PA reform program is faithfully carried out, the conditions may finally be in place for a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. You know what they're not telling you about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that the timeline for things like this are going to be about 100 years. By the time it's over, no one will have remembered, and they'll just create a new doctrine.
This will go down like in his. First of all, this isn't going to happen. Okay,
No.
so let's put that out there. This is absurd for so many reasons. It looks like it's written by a salesman at a sales meeting, trying to get their margins up and shit. So this is just silly.
And
But
last, do you want to read the last one?
This will go down historically as the last colonial edict document before the world has just fucking had it. This will be the last colonizing document from American/Israel empire that will be on record, will be this piece of shit thing.
You want to read the last one?
20.
There it is.
The United States will establish a dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. Well, maybe you would need, Israel to, just go away, because they're not going to ever accept a Palestinian state. Netanyahu just said it recently, Milikowski, about there will never be a Palestinian state. And yet we keep putting out information from our politics saying two-state. Well, does Israel know that? Because Israel is not having a Palestinian state next door to it. This thing is ridiculous.
You put all of this work together only to have Milikowski make this statement right after it was released.
איך אתה מסכם את הביקור? זה היה ביקור מצוין. גם ההתחלה באום וגם הסיום בוושינגטון. זה הביקור הרביעי שלי בוושינגטון מאז שהנשיא טראמפ נבחר. זה ביקור היסטורי. במקום שהחמאס יבודד אותנו, הפכנו את היוצרות ובודדנו את החמאס. עכשיו כל העולם, גם העולם הערבי והמוסלמי, לוחץ על החמאס לקבל את התנאים שהצבנו יחד עם הנשיא טראמפ, לשרת כל חטופינו, החיים והחללים כאחד, כשצה"ל נשאר ברוב הרצועה. מי היה מאמין לזה? הרי כל הזמן אומרים, אתה חייב לקבל את התנאים של החמאס, להוציא את כולם, צה"ל צריך לצאת החוצה.
Is the whole thing in Hebrew? Is the whole thing in Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay, so then we know that that's who he's talking to. He's talking to Israelis. That's who he's talking to. That's his audience. So he's gonna, make it look like it's all that and then some. Because and they believe his shit, I guess. I mean, even the ones that hate him, I don't even know if they realize what a pathological liar. I don't know. But if he's talking, this is for his own little Israeli audience.
חמאס יכול להשתקם, הוא יכול גם לשקם את הרצועה. לא ולא, זה לא קורה. ההפך, והנשיא טראמפ הוסיף שאם החמאס יסרב, הוא ייתן כל הגיבוי לישראל להשלים את הפעולה הצבאית וחיסולו. ולכן אני חושב ש...
Just read that again.
That's why I think from every perspective, the military operation and eliminate them. Yeah.
That's what they're going to do, and that's what they've been doing.
Well, which is part of why this plan is another part where it's ridiculous. It's okay. So now they're going to let in, they're saying in theory, if Hamas agrees to all this, the Palestinians agree to all this, that they'll start letting aid in. We're past stage 5 famine.
I thought it was Hamas that wasn't allowing the aid in.
Right. So we're past the point of being able to just let aid in. We're so far past this. We're so far past that. The only way this is ending is with the end of the Zionist state.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the only way this is ending.
The only way.
ולכן אני חושב שמכל צד זה היה ביקור מצוין. ראש הממשלה, יש שאלה שנשאלת, האם הסכמתם למדינה פלסטינית. ממש לא. זה גם לא כתוב בהסכם. אבל דבר אחד כן אמרנו, שאנחנו נתנגד בתוקף למדינה פלסטינית. הנשיא טראמפ גם
And for people listening, he's saying he opposes a
אמר באו"ם
Palestinian
גם שזה יהווה
state
פרס עצום לטרור,
and that it would be a
וסכנה למדינת
reward for
ישראל, וכמובן שאנחנו
terrorism.
לא מסכימים.
The reward for terrorism is him. The reward for terrorism is having a Zio state. That's the reward for terrorism.
You
These
have the
people
president.
have got
You have
to
the
go
president
away.
of the United States putting together a plan, which is a joke on its face. But the fact that he said that there will be an establishment of a Palestinian state as part of this agreement, which Netanyahu stands in a press conference with, supposedly supporting, and then he goes and talks to his real people and says, there is no way something like that is ever going to happen.
No. Right. You can't look.
I mean, who's in charge?
Well, that would be the military industrial complex. That would be deep state. That would be empire. I mean, that's a lot of people who are in charge. You know, he's just trying to cover his own ass because he knows as soon as it's over for him. So, I mean, he's just a narcissist. And in terms of what he's doing is just for himself. He doesn't give a shit about Jews. He doesn't give a shit about anything but himself.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I mean, it's over. They're like the Walking Dead. I feel
They
like
are
kind of Empire is the Walking Dead in general, but yeah, they're the Walking Dead.
Better to leave no doubt in terms of what direction we're heading in right now. Don't leave any doubt. At this point, it's pretty clear. They're falling, and they're going to fall all the way, as they should. And that is when we can start anew. New Gaza. That's a laugh. But in the end,
we're gonna wrap now, right? Like we're wrapping. And guys, I just want to say we will be forwarding people to Punch Up. They're streaming tonight, their Thursday night stream. That'll be at 9:30 Eastern time. So check them out if you haven't checked it out, and you know, make some friends. We're a good community.
Got a few more super chats before we go. We've got Kat T, who thinks you're great, Jen, with the 99 cents.
Thank you, Kat T. I think you're great.
And of course, one of our awesome supporters, JG1982, with the $10. If fascism or South rises again, what will happen again? Got to tell you, if the South rises again, South's going to win because they're the ones who are armed. I mean,
that's fact.
Part of it. And Jen, our very first Rumble rant. $5 from Vito P. That flag burning was worth $5. Great.
Thank you, Vito. Thank you.
Thank you, Vito. We appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Really appreciate it.
Vito's was the name of like one of the best Italian restaurants when I was growing up that everybody used to go to in North Miami Beach. It was called Vito's. Just saying.
We've got some people showing up on our Rumble channel, so it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. So I will be live on Saturday. There will be several key stories that we're going to talk about. I am going to dig into Andrew Colvett because I think you guys need to know who this guy is, the person who...
LBJ. He's LBJ.
Who's the person that stands to benefit the most besides Erica Kirk from Charlie's demise? Well, no one is talking about this guy, and I don't know how the hell that's possible. It does seem that this is flying under the radar, so what a perfect time to talk about it. I am also going to talk about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is releasing a documentary, 5-part series on how 9/11 actually went down and the Israel connection that comes with it. And he's also put out a 4-point plan of his own about how we deal with Israel, and it's great. So.
Tucker is tempting fate, man.
Oh, he really is. He's just like saying, I got a big fucking bullseye on my chest. If you're looking for me, come and get me.
I think he's protected somehow. He's protected somehow. Yeah.
And by the way,
yeah,
want a friend in Washington, get a dog.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And I will also most likely discuss Emily Austin. See what happens. With that said, we appreciate you all. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things we ask you to do. Check out Punch Up Pod if you can. I will see you Saturday, and
free Palestine.
Good night, guys.